Finding my power on the journey from empath to mystic. Mystic, a person who has a spiritual apprehension of truths that are beyond the intellect and who allows those truths to guide their actions. When I was a child, I could sense what others around me were feeling and thinking. As I grew up, as so many empaths and spiritually attuned children experience, I was gravely misunderstood. I did not fit in very well to school structures and felt awkward socially. I was constantly in trouble and always being picked on as the odd one out. As most empaths who grew up unrecognized and unsupported do, I shut down and checked out, functioning in the physical world but never truly feeling my emotions or experiencing life fully. As so many sensitive children end up these days, I became numb, anxious, and depressed. As a teenager, I found other kids to surround myself with who also didn't fit in. We wanted to be left alone, to drink and smoke away the pain, and were constantly chastised and punished by parents, teachers, police, and court systems alike. But I was fortunate. As a teen, something out of the ordinary happened to me. I was exposed to mysticism and spirituality by people who weren't trying to save me, change me, or use me. I was fortunate to find adult mentors who respected me for who I was, took me seriously, and treated me with respect. They saved me from a life of pain, shame, and fear. My soul had taken refuge in the spirit world because living consciously on earth had been too painful. One of my mentors even described me as having feet firmly planted on the earth, head in the sky, and nothing connecting the two. Many spiritual seekers, empaths, and sensitive people end up living this way. They fully function, taking care of others, going to and from work, but inside they feel anxious, depressed, or numb. They are aware of the energies and emotions around them, but feel depleted by that ability, not knowing how to harness their strengths or communicate to others what they see and feel. They may allow their natural ability to love and have compassion to be used by people who take advantage of them. It is an incredibly difficult way to live. It took some time, but I learned to embrace my abilities as an empath on a journey of spiritual awakening. Over many years of studying with spiritual teachers, shamans, and mystics around the world, I learned to process my emotions and to process my knowledge of the emotions of other people around me in a grounded, stable, loving, and connected way. I learned to allow the physical world to connect with the intuitive, spiritual, and mystical one, and invited them all to make a home together in my body. I learned to have boundaries and direct my skill intentionally so that it doesn't randomly fluctuate. Because of that, I have been able to help hundreds of people as a grounded intuitive with solid energetic boundaries, not only without getting overwhelmed, but being very happy and joyful in my service, and always with a feeling that there is meaning to my life. In my desire to help others walk the same path, the time finally came for me to create systems to help empaths, sensitive people, and people who are awakening to their spiritual nature do what I did. But I wanted them to be able to transform their lives and evolve their capacity for feeling peace, freedom, and connection in the comfort of their own home. To that end, the system I present in this book focuses on building your intuition, because that is the greatest gift of an empath, and it is the best way to learn to connect to the higher wisdom within you. You can turn your gift of sensitivity inward instead of constantly outward. You can clear the emotional and mental channels, allow your inner voice to shine, and your authentic spiritual gifts to be unveiled, both to yourself and to the world. You can live as the spiritual guide and artist you came into this world to be, even though, unlike the villages, clans, or native cultures of old, there may not be a recognized role for you. In old world villages and native tribes, you would have been recognized and appreciated for your gifts. You would have been sent to apprentice with the village shaman or artist guild. or been honored with a room at the local monastery, celebrated instead of made to feel like an outsider. Today we have to be stronger. We have to come together as a community and recognize our strengths. We must lift each other up and remember that we are the bridges here to guide people to goodness and wholeness in appreciation of each other and of nature. We mustn't give up on humanity. We have the power to be their artists, shamans, peacemakers, and prophets. To be the inspired visionaries who together can create a movement that ends the isolation, depression, and destruction in which so many people live. We are the ones. There are no others. There are two paths for you to choose from. One leads you forward into the unknown, into healing, connection, awareness, and yes, the challenge of being big, being creative, and being seen for who you are. The other path leads to more of the same, to the challenge of struggling to fit in and keeping yourself small, confused, and possibly in pain. This book and the community behind it can lead you down the first path, to finding your life purpose, to remembering why you incarnated, to being strong in the face of oppression and adversity, and to not accepting life as the way it is anymore. Mastering your intuition will lead you to a balanced harnessing of your mystical power and give you a grounded, meaningful, and creative life. It will be challenging, but it will be the good kind of challenging, the kind that makes you feel alive, the kind that makes you feel inspired, even though you have no idea what is around the next bend in the road, or how you are going to accomplish your vision, or how, indeed, you are going to find a vision to pursue. Opening to your inner voice and letting it heal and guide you gives you a new best friend, a friend that is nearer to you than yourself, as the poem by Rumi, quoted in the first chapter of this book, tells us. When you open to your inner voice and intuition, you reconnect your spiritual self to your earthbound self. That is what happens. The friend comes into the body, as another line by Rumi tells us. Come along for the ride, learn to trust your inner voice, and let it lead you on the adventure of a lifetime, your lifetime.